So heavy commitment by an executive, this is a hard question, okay? So you can tell it's hard because we don't have definite splits. Actually, all the answer choices change from one to the other. So let's start with the first one. It says heavy commitment to a course of action. Then we have a modifier here, especially if it has worked. This it is referring to the course of action, right? The course of action has worked well. And then it goes with the verb, right? Makes it likely. So heavy commitment makes it likely. Here we have a second pronoun, it. And this we can apply here basic pronoun theory, right? So if you don't know your theory for pronouns, go to our videos and check us out. Basically, the theory tells you if you have two pronouns of the same type, here it, these two its are of the same type, they should be referring to the same referent. So we already identified that the first it refers to course of action. The second it should be referring to course of action as well. If not, then it is wrong. And that's the case here. This second it is actually an idiom. It's an idiom, so it can't be referring to course of action. So letter A is out. What about letter B? An executive who, that's a subject, follows a course of action, especially one that worked well. Here they change it for one. That's a little better. That's also referring to course of action. And then we have a verb, makes missing signs. Now this makes is the verb, right? Now who was the subject? The executive. It doesn't make sense for the executive to make missing signs. That's not what the author, what the story is trying to tell you. The story is trying to tell you that this commitment to a strategy makes this executive miss signs, but not that the executive miss signs by himself. So that's wrong also. Letter B makes no sense. The meaning is wrong. Letter C. Letter C is actually, I think, the hardest one to eliminate. So here they tell you the person who was committed to course of action. And then what's the problem here? If we go to the modifier at the end, this after the comma here, especially if it has worked well in the past. Okay, what about this it? Pronouns, again pronouns. We have to look immediately for the referent. What is the referent for that it? And that's the problem. We know by the story, we know that it should be referring to course of action. The course of action is the one that has worked well. But here we also have the word trouble, right? That's a noun also that could be replaced by it. So actually it's ambiguous. It's not totally wrong, but it's ambiguous. So we also eliminate it. Letter D, executives being heavily committed. Actually this one is what we call a complex gerund. And here we also have problems with pronouns. So this whole exercise basically has to do with pronouns. Alright, here we have makes them. Who is them? We don't have any plural subject or plural noun here to be the reference. Actually we have executives, but this executives has an apostrophe here, so it's not a noun, it's an adjective. So this them has no referent. Alright, but in case we didn't see that, then we have another them, and we can apply the same theory we applied in letter A, right? So we say these two thems, they are pronouns of the same type, they should be referring to the same noun, and actually we know that the first one is referring to executives, or it's trying to refer to executives, and the second one is referring to signs of trouble, right? Signs, when the signs appear. So that's wrong because you have two pronouns of the same type referring to different things, to different nouns. And we have letter E. Letter E is fine. It's not the best in the world. It sounds a little ugly, but it's okay. So here we have the subject being heavily committed. This one's a gerund, but it's a subject. It's likely to make an executive miss signs or misinterpret them. Here we have them, but this them is only referring to signs, which is around here, right? When they do appear. So we have them and they are also pronouns of the same type, but both of them in this case refer to signs. So that's fine. So here we have letter E as our answer.